I'm being silly. I'm breathing in some oxygen and I'm drinking some water. I'm going to have oxygen and water to survive. Otherwise, I'm not going to be alive. You've got to have oxygen and water too, don't you? Yeah, that's what we need to survive. What about plants? What do they need? Well, we're going to find out today. And we're going to review photosynthesis again. And it's got a big long standard here, but basically what it says is that plants need three things to survive. They need water, they need energy from sunlight, and take a deep breath and then breathe out. You just breathe out carbon dioxide. That's the third thing that plants need to make their own food: carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight. So those three things are needed by plants to live, just like we need some food and we get our energy from the food we eat. We've got to have water to stay hydrated, and we need oxygen to breathe. And when plants get their three things, when they get carbon dioxide and sunlight and water, they create their own food through a process called, did you name it? Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Photo means light. Synthesis means make. Photosynthesis, they make food from the light and oxygen and carbon dioxide and water. Plants do. That's why they're called producers, like we've been learning. Producers. They produce their own food. Once they do that, they give off oxygen, which is good for us because that's what we need to breathe. Oxygen. Plants give off oxygen and sugar, which is nice because my brown bananas here. This is one way that plants produce food. A banana tree grows bananas, and aren't they sweet when you eat them? It produced some sugar during photosynthesis. So anyway, that is what we're going to be learning today. So photosynthesis in producers. Here's a little picture. This plant here is getting sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide, the three things it needs, giving off oxygen and sugar. Okay, let's take a look at this slide here. And I'm going to need my glasses to read this slide. It's kind of small. You might need to put yours in present mode when you're reading it. And notice there are three things I need you to do on this slide. And that is just to click in these boxes and tell me what a producer, what photosynthesis, and what chlorophyll is. They're right here in the text, okay? So let's read this together. Photosynthesis and producers. I'm going to go to present mode so that I can see this better. There we go. All right. Photosynthesis and producers. An ecosystem is a system of all the living and non-living parts interacting in a place. In an ecosystem, interaction means one thing uses or needs another thing. We've looked at that all week long in our food webs and food chains, food pyramids. They need each other to survive. Plants and animals in an ecosystem depend on other sources to provide food for energy. Producers are the first organism in a food chain. You need to click and type that in there. They're the first organism in a food chain. We knew that. They're able to take the energy from the sun and turn it into food energy. Plants use this energy to live and grow. Consumers can eat plants to get that energy. This amazing process by which a plant makes its own food is called photosynthesis. You need to click in here. Oh, poo. You need to click in there and type it in that box. Photosynthesis, the amazing process by which a plant makes its own food. Just under the plant's leaves, epidermis, or its skin, you want to trick your brother or sister, say, ooh, you've got epidermis all over you. You do too. It's called skin, right? It's another word for skin. So your brother or sister's like, no, I don't have epidermis on me. Yeah, you do. It's skin, dude. Just under the plant's leaves, epidermis, or its skin, plants make food in the cell parts called chloroplasts. Chloroplasts within the leaf's cells take in air, sunlight, and water. So the leaf is a big part of photosynthesis, obviously. The leaf takes in the air, it takes in the sunlight, and it takes in the water. And that's, of course, the roots can send the water up to the leaves too, but the photosynthesis happens in the leaves. Chlorophyll is the molecule in the chloroplast that catches the sunlight and turns it into chemical energy to fuel photosynthesis. That's a lot to type in that little box, but I think it'll fit. Chlorophyll is the molecule in the chloroplasts which catches sunlight and turns it into chemical energy to fuel photosynthesis. When water and carbon dioxide enter the chloroplast, they're processed with the energy from the sunlight to make food. First, the hydrogen is separated from the water, and the leftover oxygen is not needed. This leftover oxygen is released from the plant, giving us air to breathe. Of course, water is H2O, 2 elements of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen. So it gives off the oxygen, it keeps the hydrogen. The hydrogen moves on in the process of photosynthesis to be combined with carbon dioxide. So we get hydrogen plus carbon dioxide, which is 1 element of carbon and 2 elements of oxygen. And then it makes food, which all of these make food. There's carbon and oxygen and hydrogen. Okay, so there is a diagram of all the little elements of photosynthesis. That's a bit confusing, but as long as you know what a producer, photosynthesis, and chlorophyll, I need you to know those. Type them in this little yellow boxes. Just copy what's in the text right here. They're bold, so it should be easy to find. Okay, all right. Let's talk some more about it. Here's a good picture of photosynthesis. Number 1, the plant takes in sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. That's the first part of photosynthesis. It gets sunlight from the sun, gets carbon dioxide from the air, and water. Could rain on it, could suck it up from its roots. Second, inside the leaf, chlorophyll turns sunlight into energy for photosynthesis to happen. Third, hydrogen is separated from the water, leftover oxygen released into the air. Fourth, hydrogen combines with the carbon dioxide to make sugar, a food for the plant to live and grow. So there's a review of photosynthesis. Now, here's your big part of your assignment today. You've got to define those 3 words in that slide. What was it? Photosynthesis and producers and chlorophyll. Make sure you define them. But this is the third thing I want you to do. And this is what I'm going to be looking at for your grade today. So I know you can't draw and color a picture to represent photosynthesis. So here's what you could do. If you want to get a little picture of the sun and a little picture of a plant and a little picture of plant giving off oxygen and sugar and little things going into the plant like water and carbon dioxide and sunlight. If you want to do all little pictures and do the arrows, you can. But if you want to take the easy way out, which is fine with me, we'll go to insert like we have all week, image, search the web, and type in something like diagram of photosynthesis. And let's see what comes up. Okay, so we've got all kinds of different diagrams here of photosynthesis. If you just want to do that, keep it simple. Click on whichever one you think is best. Okay, and I'll just choose this one, keep it simple, so our video's not too long. And there we go. We've got sunlight, we've got carbon dioxide, and we've got water going into the plant, and it's giving off oxygen. Of course, it should give off sugar too. So you might not want to use this picture because it doesn't show it giving off any sugar. All right, or glucose. Now, once you've got your picture, you need to click in this box and just describe it. All I need you to do, no, don't get worried about this. Just tell me what happens. In photosynthesis, a plant takes in water and carbon dioxide and sunlight to produce food, and it gives off oxygen and sugar. Okay? Remember, sugar, bananas. Plant makes food during photosynthesis. I'll say it one more time, and you can just type what I'm saying. During photosynthesis, a plant takes in sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water to produce food, and it gives off sugar and oxygen. Okay, so you type something like that in the box. That will be plenty. Okay, and you can choose any picture you want over here. Once you type in diagram of photosynthesis, some of them are complicated. You might put picture of photosynthesis. Let's see if that makes it even a little better. Oh yeah, those are much simpler to understand. So if I want to type in picture of photosynthesis, it looks a little more simple. Okay, and then put it in the box like we have this week and our other ones, and tell me about it, and you'll be done with science for this week. Hope you have a great weekend.